Yeah, tough game, tough loss. Guys fought hard to the end, proud of their effort. Score is not indicative of how the game went. It was a battle until, middle of the way through the fourth quarter, one score game. And it was a disappointing loss, but there's a lot of stuff to build on, and a lot of positive happened in the game in all three phases. So we look forward to getting ready here to get that stuff corrected today and move into the game preparation for Central Florida.
We'll take questions for Coach Diaco. Please star 1 on your keypad to join the queue. The operator will introduce you.
We'll take a question from John Altavilla with the Hartford Courant.
Good morning, Coach Diaco.
Hi, John.
Bob, I got a couple things for you this morning.
Shoot.
The first thing is just some bookkeeping. How's Tommy Hopkins, and how will his potential absence affect your offensive line?
Yeah, first question is he's going to be formally evaluated and has that appointment tonight. It's a lower leg. Can't get into specifics. So we'll know more this evening for tomorrow's press conference. So I don't know, just exactly. But he looked better in the building than I was anticipating. But we'll see more and know more tonight. And then it's a big loss. He is one of the more formidable players in that line. So not having him in there is less than excellent. And then the continuity that those five guys created together is a little bit lost. So we got to try to get that back and really do a great job with plugging a guy in there. If things shake out tonight to be serious or more serious.
So what are your major talking points going to be as you start into this last 5-game rotation in the season? You're well within reach of a lot of your team goals in terms of making a bowl game. What are you going to address with your team as you get into this point?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that you can choose to show up to this point in the season and feel a little deflated and defeated based on record. But I think that's really not appropriate. There's some very encouraging things happening. Even the game Saturday was a battle against a good to great team. We had the lead in the third quarter, 17-14. We were within one score with 6 minutes to play at 28-20, and had the ball in our hands on an interception in the end zone that was peeled away. So you can look at the first 6 games, see 3 losses to the number 11, the number 22 or 23 team in the country, and the number 27 team in the country, and all 3 of those games were on the road. And Syracuse just beat the brakes off VPI, who was number 13 or 14 in the country at the time. So we've had a lot to chew on here in the early season, and we've made some real strong improvements, and these guys should be excited about the second half of the season and what we can become. Absolutely, and I am, and I know they'll show up today with that attitude, resolute to getting mistakes fixed and improving.
And finally, Bob, and probably most importantly, tonight is a huge night for the future of UConn athletics as the Big 12 makes its decision about expansion. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective as head football coach, are you nervous about what's going to come down tonight, and where do you see the future of your program and UConn athletics if they choose to pass UConn over?
Yeah, as I've said in the past, I'm not at the table. I don't have a seat at the table. Nobody's asked me what I think, and I have no say in, buy-in, weigh-in. Wasn't part of the past, wasn't part of the present as it relates to that whole piece. So I have ultimate faith in the administration and on a presidential level and then an administrative level with our department. They're fantastic people, busting their butts to serve the university. I have my job to do, which is coach the football team, and serve them and their needs today. So I don't think about much other stuff than that.
So you don't think it would be a major boon to your program if you got in? I mean, UConn football would be much different fundamentally in a lot of ways if you do get in.
Again, I don't, to speculate in hypotheticals. I'm not interested in really doing that as it relates to hypotheticals and what could be. And I mean, if we're wishing, we could make a long list of things we'd like to wish for.
Thanks, Bob.
Sure.
We'll now move on to Shannon Green with the Orlando Sentinel.
Good morning, Coach Diaco. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing good. Coach, I'm wondering, UConn has had UCF's number for the past couple of years. Obviously, they have a new coach, different system. What are some of the differences that you've noticed on tape about UCF this year in comparison to previous years?
I mean, I've always had such great respect and admiration for the program. That's well documented. So I thought the Coach O'Leary's teams were, and obviously the proof's in the pudding there. He won a tremendous amount, and he had great football teams, and you could see that on tape. Electric playmakers, great effort, great toughness, belief. Innovative systems in all three phases. And Coach Frost has done the same thing. So he's lockstep with the DNA of the program and has taken over and it's it doesn't look like they've really lost a lot from Coach O'Leary's overall program.
They've got a kickoff returner, Adrian Killens, who's made some big plays this year. Is this a week where you kind of turn up the attention to special teams coverage when you know UCF has a kickoff returner like that?
Well, being a special teams coordinator for however many years, I don't know, 8 years or 10 years, it's never out of my mind. So it's always been a big deal to me and for every game, no matter what. So. All you got to do is turn on the tape to see Adrian and his overall skill set, and it's not new. This guy's been producing for his whole life. I want to say he was the state champion 100-meter. It ran a 10.5 when he was a junior in high school. So you don't need to look real far to see an electric player.
And finally, I'm working on a separate story about targeting. I'm leaning on your expertise as a defensive mind genius. Since that rule came about in the past couple of years, has it changed the way that you've approached coaching defense at all?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. And we completely retooled and totally changed how we teach tackling. Absolutely, for the players, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the game. The game is safer than it's ever been, by far. So the rule was a great thing, and it was a catalyst for all this new teaching. And the new teaching, although it's been, tough and hard to diagnose and get implemented, and it's created a lot more points. But that's okay. It's all consistent. And it's good for the players. It's so good for them, and I hope to someday think that we can have one, common teaching progression for all age groups, Pop Warner through high school and college football and NFL football for, exactly how to tackle players with the ball in their hands.
Do you wish that there was I know that it has made the game safer, and the coaches across the board obviously are for that. When the call kind of goes against you in a questionable situation, is there a wish that there was a better way to maybe appeal some of those decisions?
I think they've done a good job of rewriting that and taking a look I think it could be flipped. I think it could be flipped. I think it could be flagged as a unsportsmanlike or a flagrant or whatever, however you want to see it, and then looked at to see if targeting was present, rather than a targeting and then look to see if it's not present. But it's better this year than it was a year ago, where they actually are looking intently to see were the elements present to add to targeting to the unsportsmanlike or whatever they call the foul. So I think they're doing a fine job with it. Actually, I think it's much better, much more improved than it was in 15 and beyond. Before.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
We'll now move on to Dan Totoro with WakeUpCallDT.com.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. To look at the American Athletic and just what it has been, what it's become, just what you can say about, looking around to the coaches that are in the American Athletic with you and just how you would define this conference and what it's really built itself to be.
I mean, we have basically a top 10 team, another team in the high teens or early 20s, and one knocking on the top 25 door. So all with one loss, and two of them beat each other. So one beat the other. So we got awesome football. Speaking about football, we got awesome football in this league, as good as any league in the country. And from a resources standpoint, we are doing everything that the autonomous group does. There's nothing that we, at least to my knowledge, from on a commissioner level and a conference level and a presidential level, I don't think there's anything that we say no to or that we can't afford as a conference to do that the autonomy group has interest in doing as it relates to player service and safety and time constraints and staffing and feeding and other. So I mean, it's a kind of a bizarre happening. All kind of happened at one time. It's kind of bizarre happening how some were included and some were excluded. Because the American Conference is as strong a football league as there is, and they're also making resource decisions to be lockstep with everyone else. So I'm not sure why there's separation, honestly.
What has it done for college football, in your opinion, that, like you said, this bizarre happening where some were included in autonomy and some were not? What has it done to college football as you know it, seeing the remnant, kind of the ripple effects over the last couple of years?
To me, it created a vernacular that created an ideology. And in that vernacular and ideology came TV contracts and resources, and that's where the real separation happens now. Young people that are interested in playing college football have this particular set of vernacular, whether it's real or not real. Perception is reality, and then this well of resources and the incredible disparity there. That's happening. So it's really pretty weird, actually.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Sure.
And we have time for one more for Coach Diaco, please.
We'll take a last one from Joey Knight with the Tampa Bay Times.
Coach, just in reviewing Quentin Flowers' 54-yard touchdown run in the first half Saturday, I've watched it several times. Is that something as a coach where you just throw up your hands and say, hey, you take your hat off to a great player?
No, it's not. No, we had misfit on the play and player trying to do, somebody else's job, and he needed to do his job, and the play would have ended before it started.